Your boy, yo, yo. What's up, YouTube? It's the best that ever did it. A true winner, 6 p.m. Underdog King, man. That's so they call me. Um, we got the damn NCAA football brewing for week 5. If you was with me, I did my way too early, week 5 picks, and I did change my mind on a couple picks after the lines open. So without further ado, leave me a like right now. Just like the video to get it over with. It's free. You know what I'm saying? Help my channel grow a lot. And leave me a sub if you're not subscribed, man. If you want to keep getting the best underdog picks to make your wallet fatter, you know what I'm saying? Just leave me a sub. And we're going to keep continuing to beat the books, beat the odds. Speak all of the positivity into existence. We about thriving over here. We not about no negative shit. Don't even think your ticket gonna lose. Always think your shit gonna win. That's the number one key that people don't always forget about. Like, you gotta remember the number one key is to always believe. Just believe your shit is always gonna believe. You know, even if you don't win, don't ever have a bad thought in your head, man, about losing. Like, always believe. Speak it into existence. You know what I'm saying? Manifestation. But anyway, let's get into week 5 of college football. We're going to kick it off with the Thursday slate. We got 3 games on Thursday. Temple at Tulsa. Tulsa is one of those super average teams, man. So is Temple. Temple did beat, they beat week 1 again. They beat Akron week 1, and then they beat Norfolk. Norfolk is really nobody. I'm really more impressed with the Akron win than Norfolk. And then look at who these people beat. Tulsa beat NIU. I'm more impressed with the NIU victory instead of Arkansas Pine Bluff. In this game, man, I think it's like one of those weird games. I do lean Tulsa. I just think Tulsa is a little bit better. They stuck it out with Indiana. And I feel like Temple has a little bit more growing to do on the offensive side. I like Tulsa to get it done here on the money line. But I think it could be a damn 50-50 game. This is probably a stay-away game. But if I had to pick a side, I would pick Tulsa. I think they have more competition. You know what I'm saying? More battle-tested. And then I like Tulsa, how they looked last week against Indiana. I'm sorry, damn, why do I keep saying Indiana? I like how they looked against NIU, man. But I didn't like the picks that they was throwing. They was throwing, like, no-brainer interceptions. Like, you got to be a better quarterback for Tulsa. But I do think they have the better quarterback over here at Tulsa. Next up, we got Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, man, it's a damn good name. You know what I'm saying? It's just a good name. They lost to Troy outright. They beat Houston Christian, and then they beat these South Florida Bulls by 17, man. Middle Tennessee played against Mizzou pretty close. They stuck it out with Mizzou. After that, played Weak Murray State. And then they played Colorado State. And we were on Colorado State to get the outright victory after they did their thing against Colorado Buffaloes. And we fared well. Colorado State was the better team as we thought. But, Middle Tennessee did keep it close. And, they played two big schools in the 2 first games. And they kept it competitive in the last 2 games that they played. Man, I think the over under, it should be under. I think the over is gonna be not this game, man. Middle Tennessee plays that slow pace ball, run the ball. lean on their defense, limit the possessions. I think we get well under the total here. Western Kentucky can light up the scoreboard against those bad teams with bad defenses, but this is not Middle Tennessee team. Middle Tennessee held Mizzou to 23. You know what I'm saying? I think we get under the total, and I think Middle Tennessee could pull off the outright upset, man. I like Middle Tennessee to get the victory. This is one of the top underdogs of the week in the early slate for Thursday, and Middle Tennessee for the outright victory and the under. Next up, we got Jacksonville State against Sam Houston. Sam Houston's 0-3. We already know how bad Sam Houston is. We rode Houston against Sam Houston last week. I told you guys it was going to be a feel-good victory for Houston, later points, and that's exactly what we did. Easy winner. We already know how bad Sam Houston is. Jacksonville State, we know that they're not the best team ever. They're not no world beaters. We know when to pick Jacksonville State. And I know how to read this team pretty well. I like Jacksonville State to get the victory pretty easily. I'll lay the number. It's 5.5. I'll lay 6 points with Jacksonville, of course. I would. I think they win by double digits. I think Jacksonville State wins that by double digits. And then on the Friday slate, we got 3 games, maybe 4. Yeah, we got 4 games Friday. Starting off with Louisville and North Carolina State. I like North Carolina State now, don't get me wrong. But Louisville is just a better team to me. Louisville is way more potent on offense, got a defense. And North Carolina State has more question marks. You know what I'm saying? Look at what I mean. Against this damn UConn team, you only beat them by 10. UConn is terrible. And then against a 0-4 Virginia team, it was a 3-point victory. You know what I'm saying? And then UVA damn near could have won that. You know what I'm saying? If 2 more plays would have went their way. I just don't think we could trust North Carolina State to keep continuing. You know what I'm saying? Keep continuing to eke out victories. Like, you gotta be more decisive. You gotta be winning by more of a bigger decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Louisville is way above their pay grade. Way above their pay grade. Louisville is 4-0 for a reason. Even after Georgia Tech gave them a scare, I like Louisville on the fucking spread. Cover 4 points. Louisville on the spread. North Carolina is good. They're better against those down middle of the pack, lower tier teams, not against Louisville. Louisville is about to dominate them. I'll lay the 5. Next game, we got Utes against Oregon State. Now, I like Oregon State as well, but I told people Washington State was going to beat them. Cam Ward is different. I keep telling people Washington State should not be damn near that ranked that damn high. Low. Utah Utes is 4-0 due to their defense. Their defense carried them to 4-0. It was a bad beat last week against UCLA. I thought UCLA was going to win out on the money line. And then they threw a pick 6 very early in the game. That's what really lost them the game, was that pick 6. Because Utah only put up 7 points after that. In a 14-7 victory, Utah put up 7 points on their offense. That's the lowest points total scored by a ranked team since 2007. That's how bad this offense is. We got to see if Cameron Rising is going to come back for this game. We see he's still questionable with the knee injury. Man, if Cam Rising is in this game, I like Utah to get the job done. That defense is fucking serious for sure. That Utah defense is serious for sure. They held Florida 11 points. And I just don't like what I seen from the Oregon State quarterback last game. I didn't see anything special last game from Oregon State. But they did find a way to pull up 35 points late, all late, garbage time. Late, 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 late. They were never in that game. They never had a shot. They play UC Davis and fucking San Jose State. Nobody in a bad San Diego State team. Nobody. They're not ready for Utah. I don't think they're ready for Utah. And then I was on Oregon State in my way to early picks because I like the the 35-38 final. It looks good. It looks good. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have everybody thinking, okay, Oregon State's home. Utah's offense is horrific. Man, if Cameron Rising is in this joint, Utah is a lock for the money line. But if not, man, I think I still like Utah to at least cover the 3 points. But in this game, I think we get an over. I think we get over the total for 44. I know Utah's defense is elite. I know Oregon State looks sloppy, and they probably won't score that much against Utah. But I think we get over the total super slightly. This may be closer to a 48-point total than 44. Ever so slightly, I think we get over this total, and I think Utah can hang with them. Next up, we got Louisiana Tech at UTEP. UTEP's the slight favorite for no reason. La Tech on the money line all day long, easy. Louisiana Tech on the money line. Next up, we got Cincy at BYU, and this line completely flip-flopped from the opening. BYU is 3-point favorites. And I said if fucking BYU is the favorite, we gonna ride Cincinnati. And now look at the damn fucking spread, man. Cincinnati is 2-point favorites now. Man, I like what I've seen from Cincinnati. I'm not gonna lie. Against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense is pretty dormant, man. That quarterback for Pittsburgh's gotta go. He's gotta go tomorrow. He's got to go next week. He got to go sometime soon, or they're not going to win a lot of games. BYU kept it close with Kansas. I thought BYU could get the outright victory after that outright victory against Arkansas. But we got to remember this is the BYU team that put up 14 against Sam Houston State. That's what it always boils down to. And against an elite offense in Cincinnati and the big play Jayhawks, elite offenses sometimes overrule good defensive teams like BYU. And man, I wish that Cincinnati was still the underdog. It just sucks to see the public on these boys like we were. I think Cincinnati does win the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a low-scoring affair and BYU eked out a victory. This is a 50-50 game. It boils down to home field advantage and just the better defense, man. I think the better defense is on BYU. I'm going to have to take BYU on the money line now. BYU to get the job done at home. And Utah State is the favorite coming in here against UConn. We already know we fading both of these teams. I do not like UConn at all. Them boys are dookie. Utah State, dookie on for them. Them motherfucking boys is terrible. But they did find a way to score some garbage time points against James Madison and dress up the scoreboard after trailing like 21-0 in the first quarter. That bad. It was at least 17-0 in the first. But when you letting teams score on you that easily, Air Force scoring easily, Idaho State put up 30. I just don't think you're ready. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think you're ready. But you're still they're at least scoring points, man. They're at least scoring points. These UConn Huskies, man. I thought they had a shot. No, actually I didn't. I thought they had a shot against North Carolina State. No, damn, I'm sorry. Against Georgia State. I thought they had their best shot to win against Georgia State, and you see that was a fucking terrible, terrible 21-point loss. Rout. That was a rout. They never had a shot. And they put that 14 up all in the fourth quarter or something like that. It was a rout. And then they kept it close a little bit with FIU, but we had FIU in that one, had Duke in that one. We're not back in UConn ever again, and we're not back in Utah State ever again. But in a game like this where you gotta make a side, when it's two garbage teams like this, I usually take the points with the. Well, I just take the points with the other team because they're both ass. They're both garbage. It's a toss up. I think UConn's more hungry, more struggling for a victory here. They have had no chance to find any dormant team to beat up on. I think this is their first chance to get a team of their caliber. It's like a 50-50 matchup. And I think Utah State has a little bit more of a firepower on offense, but they still are not that good as well. You know what I'm saying? They only beat Idaho State. Terrible, terrible team. I think UConn maybe could hang with them plus the 6, but I wouldn't touch this game at all. If I had to pick a side, I would take the points for UConn. Next up, we got USC at Colorado. Deion Primetime versus Caleb Williams. Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders versus Caleb Williams and co. Man, Caleb Williams and them just almost let Arizona State in the back door for an outright win, but they finished them boys off. But Arizona State did get the cover. And Arizona State is not good. They lost 29-0 to Fresno. You know what I'm saying? Fresno State beat Arizona State by 29-0, and they just kept it very, very close with USC. That's pretty concerning if you're USC. I know Colorado just got the beat down of the century from the Oregon Ducks, but I'm still gonna ride with Colorado to cover the 21 points. We seen that shit what they did against TCU. They were looking bad against Colorado State as well, and then you know how bad Colorado State is. But you know what I'm saying? I think Colorado kind of get this USC team to fight very hard. You know what I'm saying? They looking to steal this boys' shine. All the press they're going to get around this game. I think USC comes out ready to play, ready to do electric shit, ready to, show off and ready to get in the game with these Colorado boys who got a swagger about themselves. I do like Colorado to cover, but I like USC to win the game. Next up, we got Clemson at Syracuse. Syracuse, man, is 4-0. Started off the year great. They did look bad against Army last game. They had Army leading the game in this second quarter. Army was up, and then Syracuse closed them off in the second half. In a game that they should have never let Army be up leading like that. You know what I'm saying? Clemson is not as good as they were in recent years. Clemson is having a down year with the quarterback Klubnik. I'm not a big fan of Klubnik at all, but I did say we were on Clemson last video against Florida State. I told you people Clemson was going to wake up in that game, and they almost took the outright victory. But they let Florida State come back very late in the fourth quarter and get a very late fucking score to win that outright. Clemson does have the firepower to hang with big schools like this. Syracuse, on the other note, I think they allow a lot of points from Clemson. I think we get over this total. I think we get over the total. Syracuse's defense is not going to stop Clemson on offense. You know what I'm saying? Clemson has a good offense still. They just don't have a great quarterback. They have a good quarterback. They don't have a great quarterback. Clemson can hang around teams around Syracuse's caliber. Around those big upper echelon teams, Florida State and co., they do tend to struggle. LSU, Alabama type team. They're gonna struggle, but Clemson can always put up points as well, man. I like the over 53 in this one, and I like Clemson to get the outright victory. USA, James Madison. Now, this is one of the games, y'all. USA absolutely shitted on themselves against Central Michigan. Just complete head scratcher, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just a complete head scratcher after dominating Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State never had a shot. In a dominant victory, then you play a lesser, smaller program and you lose. You allow 34 points. That's not a great look. James Madison had Utah State dead in the water. These boys were dead in the water. And then they found a way to let these boys climb back over the last 2 quarters. You know what I'm saying? And if it was one play away from being just another fucking upset loss for this damn James Madison team. But they haven't lost yet. Man, this is one that gave me a damn hard time. But I think I'm gonna side with James Madison at the end of the day. I could trust James Madison a little bit more than I could trust USA. USA is not the team that everybody's expecting them to be. I don't see why everybody was so high on them in the beginning. Game 1, I just didn't see it. I guess they're going off last year or 2 years ago or whatever. USA is not the best team to trust every game. James Madison is pretty, you know what I'm saying? I like the over in this game. I don't see why it's touching the 4s here. It should be a 60-point total. James Madison is going to score. South Alabama is going to score. No defenses are going to be played here. But I think they're modeling the line closer to what we seen from James Madison versus Troy. A low-scoring game, but I don't think we get the low-scoring game here. We see a lot of points scored. A lot of points scored here between these two teams. I like the over, and I like James Madison to eke out the 5th victory in a row. 5-0 James Madison in the over. Next up, we got Tulane at UAB, man. Now, UAB covered the spread for us last week against Georgia. I knew Georgia wasn't going to beat anybody by 42 unless you're a damn bad team. UAB could cover this 22 points easily. I'll lean with UAB to cover the 22, but I like Tulane to win this game outright. Money line. Tulane on the money line, UAB to cover. Next up, we got Florida at Kentucky. And now this is a good game, man. Kentucky is 4-0. You could see that they beat Akron by 32, East Carolina by 11, and Ball State by 30. Then they played Vanderbilt, beat them boys decisively. We were on Kentucky to lay the points. Easy winner right there. Vanderbilt is not ready. They lost to UNLV. They're not ready to hang with you, Kentucky. I think the Florida Gators does have the better defense here. They shut down the Tennessee team, 16 points. Utah, 24. You know, that was a bad loss for them, but that's against a great defense. I don't think Kentucky's defense is that great. I think Florida gets the outright victory here. Florida dominates these boys. As of late, Kentucky has been dominating Florida the past couple of years, but back when I used to really watch it, 2012, 2014, Florida owned this series, man. I know Florida has what it takes to beat a team like Kentucky in football. This is not basketball. Basketball, Kentucky got this matchup all day. Football, I'm looking for the number 23 ranked Florida Gators to take the victory. I like Florida on the money line in this one. Kentucky is going to try to beat these boys, though. It will be a good game. Kentucky is not going to just roll over. I like the Florida Gators to get the victory, though. Penn State coming into this one. at Northwestern, who just got the outright victory against these weak-ass Minnesota Gophers. You got to be a damn shitball team to lose to Northwestern. Northwestern is one of the worst teams in the country. I see why it's a 27-point spread for Penn State. I think we get over this total of 46, man. With Penn State. Penn State might hold these boys to 7, though. Either 7 or 3, and we might get under the total. It might be 38-3. Some bullshit like that. You know, I'm not saying that can't happen. Even 42-3 is under this. 38-7 is under this. So you know what I'm saying? So tread lightly with the over under. But I think we get points here. I think Northwestern could put up at least 10 or the 9 points minimum, 3 field goals for Northwestern, and I think we get high 30s and for Penn State, 37-9. You know what I'm saying? I think we get slightly over this total or right around the number. I like Penn State to dominate money line and Northwestern to go over, chip in on some points. Texas A&M against Arkansas, y'all. Texas A&M's only loss came against Miami at Miami's house. And I think we see an Arkansas team right here that's looked good against LSU, man. At LSU, they did only beat Kent State by 22. Lost to BYU, but I think we see a damn good game right here, man. Both teams got something to prove. Texas A&M is a damn good team, man. They're damn good. But I think we see a damn Arkansas team that's ready to fight. I think Arkansas covers this point spread, and they might eke out the damn outright victory. I'm looking to fade Texas A&M on the road against a great fucking team. If it was any bad team, I would take Texas A&M all day long. But in a neutral site, nobody really, you know what I'm saying? This is an Arkansas team that could put up points. I like Arkansas to get the outright victory in this one. Big underdog right here. This is one of the biggest, best underdogs of the day. Arkansas to get the job done, at least to cover the 6, if not get the outright victory. But I like Texas A&M to fight with them, though. They won't go down. They won't go down without swinging. Next up, we got Raging Cajuns at the weakest Minnesota team we've seen in years recent. They did get an early victory against Nebraska by 3 points, and then they beat Eastern Michigan. Lost to Northwestern in overtime. You know what I'm saying? With 34-37 point total. I think we get way over this total. As you see, the line has grown 1.5. I like us to get over this total. And Raging Cajuns will allow points, and I think the Raging Cajuns couldn't outright beat these boys as well. I think Raging Cajuns are a live underdog here for sure. They should not be double-digit underdogs. No bueno, no bueno. This is a lock. Raging Cajuns to cover the spread is a lock. But I'm going to lay a little bit of sprinkle on the money line for Raging Cajuns to beat Minnesota. I do not like what I've seen from Minnesota. Next up, Buffalo at Akron. And early the beginning of the week, in my way too early picks, I had Akron to win this one. I do like the over still. I do think we still get into the 60s in this one. I like the over. I really like the over. But I think Akron is a good team, man. DJ Irons is quarterback. They got a little bit of skill, man, behind that man. That's a good captain for them. Kept it close, almost beat Indiana. Didn't show up against Kentucky. They beat Morgan State by 3. And they lost to Temple by 3. You gotta beat Morgan State by more points than that. Buffalo Bulls, the Bulls put up 38 against those Raging Cajuns. And they almost beat the Raging Cajuns. They put up 27 against Liberty. And there's no excuse for this Fordham game. You're better than Fordham. You're at home. Fordham, Should have not beaten you. You know what I'm saying? They put up 37 in a loss, 38 in a loss. I think they find their grooves here against Akron. Buffalo has pretty much dominated the series in this one against Akron. The last time these two teams played, it was 22-23, and I think Akron won, if I'm not mistaken, by one, or Buffalo won by one. Either one of them won by one. But the last meeting before that, Buffalo won 41-10. So I like Buffalo to get a feel-good victory, get that 0-4 look off of them. I think Buffalo shines in this one on the money line. Buffalo on the money line. And I like the over. EMU versus Central Michigan. I like Central Michigan to get the outright victory. I might lay the points with Central Michigan. Eastern Michigan's offense is that dormant. They put up 0 points damn near every week. You know what I'm saying? They're struggling to put up points. Put up 6 against Minnesota and 0 against Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? Jacksonville State team. They put up 0 against Jacksonville State. No, that's not going to get you wins. You know what I'm saying? No. You couldn't even put up a field goal. Central Michigan on the money line. Virginia, man, coming in this one. UVA 0-4 against BC, Boston College. Boston College let Holy Cross look good, man. I can't forget that. They made Holy Cross look good. And then in the very next game, they stuck it out with Florida State. One of the top 7 teams in the country, Florida State. Boston College is a better team here. UVA does have a little bit of offense to chip in, put points up on the board. I was back in Virginia after they kept it close. Who did they shoot it out with? James Madison? Yeah, they shot it out with James Madison in a loss. And then the very next game against Maryland, I was like, yeah, Maryland's coming off that damn awkward victory against Charlotte where they made Charlotte look good. I said this is the perfect opportunity for Virginia to get a upset victory, a bounce back win. And no, Virginia started off the game leading 14-0 in the first quarter at one point, and I was feeling good. I'm like, yeah, I picked Virginia. They started off 14-0 and they end up losing 14-42. So this is what we're gonna expect from Virginia, man. Virginia did put up points against a North Carolina State team who's average. That's why we're fading North Carolina State against a good Louisville team. I think BC gets the job done here, but I think it's pretty closer, man. This is a damn pick'em. This should be a fucking pick'em. Virginia might get their first win of the season here. They might get their first win. I wouldn't be surprised if Virginia won, but I wouldn't be surprised if BC won. It's a real 50-50 game. Pick your poison. But I like what I've seen from Boston College a little bit more against a bigger fucking school in Florida State. If they could play against if they could play their hearts out against Florida State like that, I think that says a little bit more to me than what Virginia played their hearts out against James Madison. You know what I'm saying? Like, BC is a little bit more trustworthy to me, a little bit better defense. BC on the money line, but I wouldn't be surprised if Virginia won. Miami of Ohio at Kent State. I like Miami of Ohio to cover the 15 points. Kent State is that bad. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I think the minimum they lose by here is like 20 points here. I got this projected for a 20-point win on average for Miami of Ohio. I think they dubbing them boys all day long. Might be a 30-point win at the end of the night. AZ, who just kept it close with USC, Arizona State versus Cal. Now I'm a fan of Cal, man. I like what I've seen from Cal. I know when to jump on Cal. I know when to jump off of Cal. They're a pretty good team to read. I know what to expect from these boys. They're going to give up points. They're going to put up points. I like the over in this game. This should not be in the 40s. You see it opened up at 51. That's where the number should be at. I do not see why it's being bet down here. I like the over in this game all day. Arizona State could put up points against USC. They could put up points against Cal. Cal let North Texas put up hella points, and then they came out and just finished the game off, finished them off strong at the end of the game. But Cal is allowing points. You know what I'm saying? Cal is allowing points. They're gonna allow points. Arizona State can find the end zone. I like that both teams to score in the high 20s, maybe even the 30s here. 27 to 38, 27 to 35. I like Arizona State to cover, but I like Cal to win, and I like the over. I think the over is the strongest play here. Now we got Arkansas State at Massachusetts, UMass. UMass is one of those teams that is not a good favorite, but they are good underdogs when they're getting a lot of points. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing could be said with Arkansas State. But I think when we got two garbage teams like this, I like to take the points with the other team. And that's definitely what I'm going to do here with Arkansas State. We seen Arkansas State get blown out 73-0 first game. You know, the worst. And then they picked it up the last two games in an outright victory against Southern Mississippi. And we was riding on Southern Mississippi in that one. Like I said, man. But Arkansas State showed me otherwise. I like teams that show me otherwise. It make me put my money where my mouth is. I like Arkansas State here to get the outright victory on the money line. They should not be the underdog here. Arkansas State is the slightly better team. I like the over in this game as well. It might be a 70-point game. I like the over in this Arkansas State and UMass game with Arkansas State on the money line. Wagner at Rutgers. Rutgers money line all day long. Rutgers on the money line. Rutgers on the spread. I might take Rutgers on the 20-point spread in that one. Michigan at Nebraska. Man. This is a controversial pick right here. This is a controversial pick right here. Man. Yeah, I like Michigan to win this game by double digits. I think a lot of people expecting this to be that low-scoring Nebraska Cornhuskers environment at home. But I like the Michigan to beat up on these boys, get a feel-good victory. I know everybody's leaning on Nebraska in the points, but I'm going to go opposite of the world. You know what I'm saying? I don't follow trends. This is a prime time game for Michigan. This is who they've been waiting to play. You know what I'm saying? Like a team like Nebraska. They're just gonna beat up on these Nebraskans. You know what I'm saying? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dominant fashion win for Michigan. Next up, we got UGA, Georgia, #1 team in the world right now, for the rankings wise at least. But we got an Auburn team that's pretty easy to read as well. Auburn is not that good this year. When we've seen Auburn versus Cal, I told people I love the over in that game because we see Cal gives up a lot of points. And it was a 14 to 10 game with Cal. Low scoring as fuck. Then 3 games out of the damn 4, then all unders. I think we get another under here, man. 2 defenses coming up to play. Carson Beck is not really explosive. I think we see defense rules today here. I like the under. The line is moving down, so get it while you can. It might go to 44, 43 and a half. I like UGA to win on the money line and the under. Then we got Texas Tech hosting Houston. And you know we're fading Houston when they're going up against a good team. We were on Houston last week because we, Sam Houston's State is that bad. Sam Houston is terrible. Sam Houston is terrible. We knew Houston was gonna win that. Easy winner right there for Houston. But against a Texas Tech team who stuck it out with Oregon, I think Texas Tech gets a feel good victory here, man. A 10-point win for Texas Tech. I'll lay the number. I'll lay the number with Texas Tech. I'll lay the 8.5 with Texas Tech. Fading Houston any chance I can get. Houston is not good. Houston is not good. Maybe in basketball, but not football. Old Dominion, man, is a very tricky team to read right now. I like Old Dominion against certain teams, and I think I might take the 14 points with against them against Marshall. Marshall is not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but they did shut us up last week. I told them they weren't going to beat Virginia Tech at all. If you would have told me Marshall was going to beat Virginia Tech last week, I would have busted up laughing in your damn face. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they went out there and did. They beat they beat Virginia Tech by 7. And that's just a bad beat, I believe. I still don't think they're better than Virginia Tech, man. Honestly, that's absurd. If you play that matchup 10 times, Marshall's not going to win more than 4. You know what I'm saying? It's 40% chance for them to win out of 10 times, man. I think Old Dominion keeps this game very close. I think we get over the total. I like over 46 for Old Dominion. Now, I did not like Old Dominion's last game against Texas A&M Commerce. So maybe I could see Marshall winning this on the money line, but Old Dominion keeps it in within 14 for sure. I think I say Marshall money line, Old Dominion to cover. But I wouldn't be surprised if Old Dominion beat them boys outright either. I like Old Dominion to cover is the stronger play. Plus the 14 is the strongest play here. But I will see Marshall winning the game on the money line. Toledo at NIU. We got to roll with Toledo on the money line. Toledo on the money line. I wouldn't lay the points because it could be a lower scoring game. I like Toledo just to win on the money line, though. Bowling Green, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech minus the points. I'll lay the 22 with Georgia Tech. It's going to be a 30-point blowout. Might be 38-10 at the end of the day. 28-point win. I think they win by 4 touchdowns. Georgia Tech on the spread. Big play Jayhawks at Texas now. This where it get interesting. This where it get freaky at. Everybody picking Kansas, right? Everybody saying Kansas gonna win this shit. Or they gonna at least cover 17. But this is the best Texas team we've seen in recent years past. Now, is it not? Beat Alabama by 10. They ain't let nobody else score more than 10 points, including Baylor. Beat Baylor by 32. I think Kansas gets a rude awakening here. I think Kansas is riding on a high horse after beating Illinois. They might think this orange is the Illinois orange here, and it's not the sweetness over there. It's not sweet over there at Texas at home. I think this is one of the best Texas teams. I think this is the favorite that stays true and avoids the upset. I like Texas to win this game. Money line. If you could tease Kansas up into the 20s, I do like Kansas to cover 22 points. Maybe even 24, bump it up to 24 points for Kansas. I like Kansas to cover 20-some points. Maybe even this 16, but I think Texas wins it outright. Texas on the money line, Kansas to cover. But I wouldn't be surprised if they got blown out. Honestly, bro. Tread lightly with Kansas this week. Tread lightly with Kansas. I'm the underdog king, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, the big play Jayhawks, this week only, though. This week only, I think they are frauds as underdog. They are not a live underdog. They not a live underdog. They not a live underdog. I'm going to say it 3 times. Circle this game, and we going to catch you next week to recap that shit. See if I was right. Ball State versus Western Michigan. I think Ball State gets a good win here. I'm gonna take Ball State on the money line. This is another good underdog. Ball State's been looking dormant all year. So has Western Michigan. Western Michigan's only win has came against St. Francis, Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's nobody. That's basically your high school competition level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Ball State to get the outright victory. They played a tougher component competition. Played Kentucky team. I like Ball State to win outright in this one. They should not be the underdog against Western Michigan. Next up, we got South Florida Bulls against Navy. This is a tough game that had me picking both sides. Like, a real 50-50 game right here. Either side, I could see winning here. I could make a case for the Bulls, and I could make a case for Navy. I think it boils down to the offensive play. In this one, both defenses are suspect. I would lean with Navy in the defense. I would say Navy has the better defense, but South Florida has the better offense. You know what I'm saying? I think South Florida has the better offense here. South Florida made me eat my damn words against Rice. I thought Rice was a lock last week, and then that proved to be not a lock. Rice had them boys, man. They had a chance to come back. Was up 21-20, and that was the damn closest chance they had, 21-20. Sad. South Florida just ran all over them boys, throwing it all over them boys. I think we do see a good game in this one from Navy as well. I like how they stuck it out with Memphis. Man, this is a tough game right here, but I'm gonna lean with South Florida in this one. It's a more upside to me on South Florida than it is on the Navy. I like South Florida to get the victory here. At least cover the 3 points. I'll take the 3 points in my back pocket. I like South Florida to cover the 3 points against Navy. Baylor coming in this one, 13-point underdog against UCF. Now, who has UCF beaten? They played a great game against fucking Kansas. We knew that was going to be a fucking over Kansas State game. Beat up on the Villanova team. That's a basketball school. And they played Boise State pretty tight. Boise State kept it close. But we did ride with UCF in this one against Boise State. I played Kansas State against UCF, and they did get the outright victory for us, and they got the cover for us. But I did think Central Florida was gonna keep it close, and they did the whole game until the end. But on the Baylor tip, they got beat by Texas State the very first game. Then they had a rough draw against Utah. They kept it pretty close, pushed on the spread, only lost by 7. LIU is their only win. And they played Texas, one of the best teams that we've seen from Texas in recent years. I think Baylor covers the number easily here. Maybe a scare, might be have to hold our breath a couple third downs. We might have to hold our breath. I think Baylor covers. UCF wins here. UCF is a better team in all facets of the game. UCF has the better offense for sure. I know how good UCF is. UCF is better. They should win the game. They should. But I think Baylor gives up. I think Baylor wakes up today. It's just one of them days that Baylor's going to wake up. Baylor wakes up today. I'll take Baylor plus the 12. Baylor plus the 12. But UCF to win. Next up, we got Indiana at Maryland. I'm going with Maryland all day long. Maryland's 4-0 for a reason. They proved to be the superior competition of the conference. Indiana is not good on the road. They didn't even look good at home against Akron. I'm not fading this Maryland team. Maryland is the real deal with Tagovailoa back there throwing that ball, just like his big brother. I think the Maryland Terrapins win this game fairly comfortable. I'm not sure if it's by 14, but I think it's about 9 to 7 point win for Maryland. Maryland to win by a touchdown. I'll lay the 7 with Maryland. If you could buy this down to 7, I'll lay the 7 with Maryland. Next up, we got Illinois at Purdue. And I'm going with Illinois in this one, man. We were on Purdue against Fresno State. Purdue looked good. Purdue was leading at halftime, or I believe in the third quarter. Purdue was up pretty fucking handedly. They were up by like 10 points. And they just let everything crumble down. The house crumbled beneath them. Purdue ended up losing that game to Fresno State. And then they didn't look good any time after that. They did get a little bullshit win against fucking Virginia Tech. But that's a bad Virginia Tech who just lost to Marshall. Didn't look good against Syracuse, lost by 15. Didn't look good against Wisconsin, who's got Tanner Mordecai, who's terrible. We know Illinois is not looking good either. But for it to be a pick'em, and we know Illinois is having a down year. This is one of the worst Illinois teams we've seen in recent years. And it's only a pick'em. The books know something we don't. The books know it's going to be a close game. The books know Purdue is overrated. I'm going to pick Illinois to win outright. Illinois on the money line. But I do like this game to be a high scoring total. I like the over, and I like Illinois on the money line. Mizzou at Vanderbilt. I got Mizzou on the money line in this one. I do like the over in this one as well. I like the over. This might be a 70-point game. I like the over, and I like Missouri on the money line. New Mexico Lobos at Wyoming. I like Wyoming here on the spread. I think Wyoming could beat them by 2 touchdowns easily. Wyoming is formidable. Beat Texas Tech already. New Mexico lost to New Mexico State, who just lost to Hawaii in a game that they shouldn't have lost. Yeah, I think we got Wyoming beat down here. Wyoming to beat these boys down. Wyoming beat down. I like the Wyoming beat down here, man. Now we got Hawaii team who just pulled off the damn unthinkable, down 17-3 at halftime, down 17-3, and they just go and score fucking. They score the worst time that you could think of, the fourth quarter, man. This is when Hawaii came out and did their dirt. Found a way to fucking win outright against a New Mexico State team who had them dead in the water. You're not going to keep doing that every week, Hawaii is. They're not going to keep doing that. You can't keep fighting from behind every week and expecting to beat teams off of a double-digit deficit. It's not a recipe for success. I think UNLV wins the game. I think Hawaii covers. Hawaii to cover the 11, but UNLV to win in a narrow game. Boise State at Memphis. Now, Boise State is one of those teams, y'all. That's one of those teams that you don't want to mess with when it comes to playoff time. Memphis is also one of those teams that's good, electric. The crowd's always in it. It's just a sellout. They got the good helmets. They look good and pretty jerseys. You know what I'm saying? It's always the damn sellout crowd with Memphis. I think Boise State pulls off the upset here. I don't like what I've seen from Memphis's quarterback, especially against Navy. Navy could have definitely beat Memphis for sure. I think Boise State's better than Navy. I think Boise State's defense is better than Navy and Memphis's defense. I think Boise State has an offense to compete with Memphis as well. I think Boise State's better in all facets of the game here. I got Boise State to win this one on the money line. This is a lock. This is a lock to me. Boise State money line is a lock. Memphis is overrated. I'm going to keep saying that. Memphis is overrated. I like Boise State on the money line. in the upset. And I like the under. I don't see where we're getting 60 points at. I don't see where the 60 points at. Like Boise State is a terrible defense. This is a good defense in Boise State. I think we get under 60. Under 60 and Boise State to win. It might be 30 to 24 or something. 30 to 24. We still get under that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more of a 14 to 24 type of game. 24 to 14. Under all day. Memphis under, Boise State to win. LSU versus Ole Miss. We were on Ole Miss last week. They failed to beat Alabama. But LSU did almost lose that game to Arkansas last week. We always see Arkansas keep it close with LSU, and it was another year where it fell right into plan. This is also an Ole Miss team that could put up points, especially at home. LSU did lose. They did lose pretty decisively too. When they did lose, they lost against a Florida State team by 21 points. So I think they are due for another loss at some point. I think Ole Miss is one of the teams that can hand them a loss. I'm gonna ride with Ole Miss again this week to knock the dust off, to show LSU they gotta come correct when they see them. I like this game to hit the 70s damn near. I like Ole Miss in the money line. Money line Ole Miss and the over. But tread carefully because the spread did go up. If it was still at 63, I would love the over. But the books are kind of catching up to the sauce. So tread lightly now that the fucking spread moved up to damn near 70. But if you could buy the spread down, I like the over. And I like Ole Miss to get the outright upset. Oregon at Stanford. I like Oregon to beat these boys down easily. Oregon to win by 3 touchdowns. I'm not sure if they win by 4, but they definitely could. I wouldn't put it past them. Next up, we got Coastal Carolina at Georgia Southern. I like Georgia Southern to win this one, man. The point spread did go up for Georgia Southern. I like Georgia Southern on the money line here. Coastal Carolina is average, but they're about below average more than above average. Georgia Southern is closer to above average than below average. I like Georgia Southern in that one on the money line. Now, this is a good game right here, man. I'm not seeing where we're getting the 40s at in Rice versus ECU. I like the over. Stab the fucking over. Stab the over on the Rice game. This is a lock. Lock this up, y'all. Lock this up. Take it to the bank. Put the over on this game. That's the strongest play here. I'm not a big fan of ECU. I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not a big fan of ECU at all. But Rice did leave a bad taste in my mouth against those damn South Florida Bulls. I was on Rice. You know, I do like Rice. I thought Rice was better than Houston. They proved to be better. I had them boys down 28-0 at one point. I do think Rice is the better team here still. But I like ECU to cover the 3 points. I think ECU could get the outright upset. East Carolina to win and the over. This is going to be a shootout. I like East Carolina to shoot it out with these boys and get the outright upset. Colorado State to win against Utah Tech easily. Colorado State, money line. Troy coming against Georgia State. I like Georgia State in this one. Troy has pretty solid defense. They did play a good game against K-State as well this year. But I like Georgia State in this one. 4-0 for a reason. It's not one of those fluky 4-0 teams. They did stick it out with some teams, and they proved to have the defense to continue to win games. I like Georgia State at home. If Troy was at home in this one, I would like Troy. But I like Georgia State at home to get to 5-0. They're eager. They got a winning mentality. They came out 4 games in a row and came out and handled business. I like Georgia State to win this one. Money line, Georgia State. Next up, we got Oklahoma at Iowa State. I faded Iowa State after they lost to Ohio Bobcats, man, 10-7. Put up 7 points against Ohio Bobcats, not Ohio State. The Ohio Bobcats. Iowa State is terrible. I'll lay the number with Oklahoma all day long. I think Oklahoma wins by 14, guaranteed. I would tread lightly on 20 points because of the low total. We might not see a lot of points scored here, so we could see a backdoor cover from Iowa State. But if you could buy it down to 2 touchdowns, I think we get 2 touchdowns easily. 2 touchdown win for Oklahoma easily. Texas State coming in this one against Southern Mississippi, who just laid the biggest egg. Minus 700 favorites were Southern Miss. Minus 700 favorites. And they ended up losing that game outright. Texas State did look bad against Nevada. 17-0. They were down 17-0 in the first quarter, first half. And they came all the way back and won that game. And they also did beat Baylor game 1. I do think Texas State is the better team. Texas State should be the favorite. But this is a coin flip game. Texas State is iffy on defense. But I do think Texas State is the better offense here. I like the offense to outrule the defense. Southern Mississippi doesn't have any defense either. So when both teams' defenses are iffy, I'm looking for the better offense. Who could get the ball in the end zone? Who could get the ball down the field to get a field goal more often than not? Who could convert third downs easier? I think the answer is Texas State. Texas State on the money line. Next up, we got Abilene Christian, University of North Texas, Mean Green. And I like the over here. They might let Abilene Christian put up 20. They might let Abilene Christian put up 14. And then North Texas is going to have 35, 38, 42. I like the over here and the North Texas Mean Green to get a feel-good victory. Notre Dame at Duke. Notre Dame's coming into a rough loss against Ohio State. I thought Ohio State did have a shot at winning, but I was on Notre Dame in that one, plus the 3. But I was on Notre Dame on the outright victory as well. I thought Notre Dame had the best chance to win that game, and they did. They did play a good game. You can't argue with that, man. That was a good game for a gutsy call for Ohio State to get that victory, man. Duke is coming in this one looking pretty solid, 4-0. Beat Clemson. Man, this is a rough game for me, man. Duke is a good team to back. But I think in this game against a good old fashioned high caliber team like Notre Dame, I think we get under the total here is the strongest play, under 52. I like the under in this one. Under. Stab that under. I think we go well under for 52. Well under. That's the strongest play here. Under 52. And I'll lean on Duke to cover the 5. Duke plus the 5 and the under. Charlotte at SMU. This is another game I like the under. I wish it was still at 57. You see everybody's been betting the under. That's why it's been going down. And I see why. I like the under as well in this one. SMU might rout these boys 41-7. I still like the under even at 54 or 53. Under. Pick the under and SMU to win in a feel-good fashion. Feel-good victory for SMU and the under. Michigan State, who fell off a cliff, man. Coming in this one against Iowa, who's not good themselves. Iowa's coming in this one. They came a 31-0 loss to Penn State. They only beat Utah State by 10, Iowa State by 7, and Western Michigan. I think this is the game that Michigan State could win outright. In the next upcoming games, Michigan State is going to have a lot of tough games coming up. If any game they're going to win in the next 4 or 5 games, it would be this Iowa game. I would like Michigan State plus the 12 in this one, and maybe sprinkle some on the money line for Michigan State. But I like the strongest play here is the plus 12 for Michigan State to keep it close within 2 touchdowns. Michigan State plus the points. Southern Carolina at Tennessee. Joe Milton versus Spencer Rattler. I like South Carolina to cover the 12.5 as well in this one as well. South Carolina to cover this one. They might get the outright upset against Tennessee. Western Virginia versus TCU with, and I like man, just blindly looking at this game, I like West Virginia plus the 12. Just blindly looking at it. I like Western Virginia plus the 12. But when you go into deep dive against things and look at the themes that West Virginia has played and the outcomes, it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth against the Pittsburgh, because I know how bad Pittsburgh is, man. Pittsburgh is terrible. But West Virginia did dominate them boys from start to finish, and then they played Texas Tech, won by 7. But TCU, man, they're coming in this one. Beat SMU, a good team. Everybody thought SMU was going to cover. I already told y'all TCU was going to win that on the money line. And they did. They won by 17. Beat Houston decisively. Then they also damn near almost beat Colorado, man. But they did lose that thriller, week 1 thriller. I like TCU's firepower on offense. That's what it boils down to. TCU doesn't look a step slower from last year. They look about just as dynamic. TCU to win the game on the money line. But I like Western Virginia to keep it close. San Diego State, Air Force. Now, I like the over in this game as well. I like the over. And I like Air Force on the money line. Same play we did last week on the Thursday slate. Air Force, money line, and the over. That hit for us last week. I think it hits again this week. Pittsburgh, a dormant offense versus one of the worst Virginia Tech teams I've seen in my life. This is one of the worst Virginia Tech teams I've seen in my life. I know Pittsburgh is bad, y'all. I know how bad Pittsburgh's quarterback is. He should be fired. He should be at the crib. Pittsburgh's quarterback is ass. I'm damn near better than him. Yeah, Pittsburgh on the money line. I just can't get behind Virginia Tech at all. I can't get behind Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is that bad, man. If you're losing to Marshall decisively by a touchdown, I think Pitt could beat them by a touchdown as well. I might bump this up. I might buy the points up to 7. Lay 7 points with Pittsburgh for some plus odds. Pittsburgh will win this game, I think, by a touchdown. I'm going to buy it up to 7 for some plus odds. Parlay it with another team. You know what I'm saying? That's how we find value here in games like this. Pittsburgh, lay to 7. Virginia Tech is that bad. App State versus UL Monroe. Now this game is like one of those games App State's gonna just dominate from start to finish. This might be at the 42-10, 42-17, 38, 32-6. You know what I'm saying? I think App State covers the 14, and then we get an over and App State to dominate by 14 or more. Washington coming in this one against Arizona. I like Arizona to keep it close in the first half. If we do take Arizona anything, I like Arizona to keep it close in the first half only. And then Washington will run away with this one in the later quarters. I like Washington to keep rolling here at 5-0. Washington. I think Washington is top 5 caliber Washington will hit the top 5 mark very soon. Washington is going to steamroll Arizona at the end of the day. Arizona is good. I'm an Arizona fan. I like to back this team when we back. You know what I'm saying, against Mississippi State type caliber teams, but not against a Washington team. I do think Arizona keeps it close in the first half. I do. I do. I do. Arizona State to keep it close, maybe even cover the full game, but I like them to keep it close in the first half only. Washington to win it outright. Alabama versus Mississippi State. I like Alabama to cover this spread here. I think Alabama could cover 2 touchdowns easily against Mississippi State. And last but not least, Fresno State hosting Nevada. Fresno State is 4-0 for a reason. And Nevada is 0-4 for a reason. You can't even complain about last week for Nevada. They started off 17-0 lead. It don't get no better than that. You don't get a better start than that. Yeah, when you lay an egg like that, it's a confidence, like, that's a confidence bummer, man. It bums your confidence. And then you go up against a better team than you had last week. You know what I'm saying? I think Fresno dominates these boys from start to finish. Fresno in a big-time blowout. I like Fresno minus the points. But if you could buy this down to like 18, 17, I like Fresno minus 17 more. Fresno to late up number. That's how we're going to cap off week 5. Not the best card, not the best exciting matchups. Week 6, we got some damn good picks for week 6 coming up. I think week 6 is one of the best weeks so far. But yeah, we gonna kill it like usual, man. We've been killing it every week. I post all my results in my shorts, so be sure to check out my shorts. And that's how we gonna finish this video out. It's been good kicking it with y'all, cooking up the parlay. The best parlay for this card, I'm gonna give y'all a 3-teamer. Cook up a 3-teamer real quick for y'all. I like Boise State on the money line. Boise State money line. Air Force in the over. Air Force in the over. Boise State money line. And I like the over on the Cal game. Over 47.5 for Cal. Boise State money line and Air Force in the over. 4-leg. Put 40 down on it. Put $4 on it. Put 400 on it. Whatever you want to put on it, put in that parlay. That's my 4 locks of the week. Let's get the books where it hurt, man. Let's keep going crazy. Shout out to Aaron Vincent, man. We got you pulled it up, posted on my subscribers watch. We gonna be doing a 50, you know what I'm saying, a giveaway for my first 50 subs. So if you part of my sub list and my first 50 subs, you got a chance at winning $25. I will send that to you personally. So be sure to be subscribed, be subscribed, be subscribed, be subscribed. And we gonna kill him on the next video. See y'all boys later. It's your boy, yo.